Guys, Jordan Connect here with another episode of Embrace the Chase, where we are interviewing well over 100 entrepreneurs, authors, speakers, what have you over the next year to pick their brains, learn from their stories, and see if there's anything we can take, add to our lives, and help us be more successful. And I'm excited today because we have Jaime on, who is a vetrepreneur. He's currently active in the, correct me if I'm wrong, Diego, the Navy. Is that right?
Yeah, correct, Mundo, yes, sir.
I love it. Active in the Navy, as well as a social media marketer himself. So super pumped to have him on. We're going to pick his brain today, kind of learn more about him and see if there's anything we can take away. So, Diego, if there's anything I missed, please add it in, brother.
No, man, you pretty much nailed it. I've been in the Navy for around 6 years now. I hit my 6-year mark in October, so that's pretty wild to think about, just how crazy time goes by. Like, I remember, obviously, 6 years ago, whenever I first started, I didn't think, 5-year contract, because I re-enlisted for 2 more this past October, November, and, man, it's just been an insane ride. Just crazy how just fast it goes by. So, beware, ladies and gentlemen, time flies. That's a true statement.
So true, so true. So then, you said you just finished up 5 years?
Yeah, actually, I just finished up 6 years in October.
Okay,
yeah.
So you signed up for another 6 years as well. Okay.
No, another two.
Another two.
There's no way I'm doing big blocks like that anymore. No way.
I just want to make sure I was understanding everything together. So,
yeah, brother.
Well, why don't we start from the beginning, Diego? Go on ahead, and if you could just go on ahead and tell your story. So everything from what you and I were chatting on the phone, from your life and your upbringing, all the way to what led you to join the military and kind of what led you to even become an entrepreneur in the first place.
Of course. Yeah, appreciate it. So initially, in the very, very beginning, humble beginnings definitely are kind of what make the strongest individuals for the most part. I mean, there's people who don't come from humble places that completely are the oddballs in their family, and they just go about and get it their own, and make it their own and just kind of grow from there. But with my humble beginnings, both my mom and dad were immigrants from down south of Mexico, and they came over and didn't have a lick of anything. They had some family support, but even then it was kind of on and off, and they had to really make something out of nothing. And one of the biggest things that kind of like hit me close to home is whenever I heard from my father. Now, they never let me know any other struggles. Like, yeah, there was some whenever things went a little bit south, some things did occur, and it kind of like affected, a young kid seeing growing up. But that's kind of normal and natural in a way, with the situation. And man, my parents waited 20 years in order to get their citizenship, green card, and all that. And I'm sitting here thinking, what have I done? Like, I'm 25. Like, what have I been committed to other than living, breathing, eating, and the other thing? Like, what have I been doing for 20 years that I've stayed committed for that long, and just have that drive and, to provide for kids or anything else, And when I heard that, I was amazed, and I heard that around 6 years ago before I joined the Navy for my father. And it was just insane, like the amount of weight that they carried on their shoulders to be able to provide for their children really hit close to home. And so I was like, okay, I'm not going to burden you guys with college. I could easily fall right back into the social norm of what society is, and kind of fall in line, going to college, drive the not so decent car, which doesn't really matter. But like, you can do all these things, fall in place, and I just wasn't really happy with that thought and outcome. So I joined the military, right? And I joined as a hospital corpsman. I had no idea that if I would recommend it to anybody, please find out what job you're going to be doing, because you never know. I, fortunately, by the grace of God, got very lucky with my job, and I love it. And I've been working with all sorts of different branches of service and areas of the world. So that was definitely one of the biggest, blessings that I could have ever gotten, was this job from the Navy. So 6 years ago, joined up. Like I said, I didn't want to be a burden, wanted to provide for my own self and, the college experience and XYZ. And before I knew it, I didn't join for college. I didn't join for money, for gratitude, for anything else like that. I joined for my brothers and sisters to the left and right of me, which is really what it all kind of comes down to, in all retrospect. And man, it's been an incredible ride, anywhere from deployments, broken relationships, just like trials and tribulations, and in those 6 years, I made some very, 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 very close friends of mine, brothers and some sisters along the way, which kind of leads me to why I went into entrepreneurship. So in those years, I met some incredible beings, and at the same time, just because of the nature of the beast, because of deployments, because of potential things that we could have seen, saw that affected everybody differently. When you come home, you feel a little odd. If you deploy for 6 months, for 2 months, for how many ever weeks, something's different when you come back. Maybe yourself or the environment around you kind of changes. Because I know when I got back my first deployment in 2014, something was off. Like something's different. Like, what's going on here? Like, what's this twerking and dabbing? Like what's going on? And so it freaks you out in a way. You know what I mean? And kind of adjusting to that takes a toll on somebody. And I never saw it. Still as a young individual in the Navy, just I didn't really see it. So when my friends started getting out, unfortunately, what got me into entrepreneurship is they committed suicide. 2 of them committed suicide, and one of them crashed in a C-130, and then the C-130 crashed in Mississippi, and it really affected me hard because it was in like back to back to back, like pretty much no rest in between, maybe a little bit to grieve and do everything. And I was like, there's no way. Like I could have easily done, this is an amazing thing, don't think I'm knocking it, but I could have easily done like 22 push-ups for the 22 veterans that committed suicide between 22 minutes, posted the video of me doing that, tag somebody, and then boom, all right, sweet, I did my part, and that didn't settle right with me. Those were my guys, and I started thinking about everybody else that's lost somebody, and I was like, you know what, got it. Let me try and attempt something and find a vehicle, find a way to be able to give these veterans their why back, to give these veterans their like sense of purpose, their belonging to a bigger group, and be able to like travel and enjoy the world with each other, back when things we used to do to prevent that, because I really believe that there's an avenue, there's a route, there's a vehicle out there, and I intend to make it and find it and go from there. So
I love it, dude. That's really cool.
Yeah, brother.
Crazy that such a negative experience happened to you, but it's awesome that you're able to take that negative experience and spin it positively to kind of continue to help other people. So I guess my question to elaborate off of this is, so current projects that you're doing right now, you were telling me on the phone that you, like many other people, including myself, stumbled across Ty Lopez's social media marketing agency course, and that's kind of how you originally got influenced and introduced to the world of social media marketing. But my question is, with current projects right now, how are you either utilizing social media for marketing purposes or public speaking in the realm of what you just said, kind of helping vets?
Okay, so the social media, that kind of got like the ripping start, and I'm pretty sure it was Ty Lopez did this huge, and he knows it, I'm pretty sure he does, and if he doesn't, he better. This huge wave of entrepreneurs, of young kids, young studs, young ladies, men, gentlemen, whoever, old men, women, they just pushed it out there and they're roaring because they had their ability, like, oh man, I can do this. For some reason, that course did it. If that wasn't one of the reasons, in the 67 steps that he came out with originally, program, that did it as well. So with all that being said, this was kind of like an avenue to find and have the funds necessary in order to be able to go into this next program that I'm trying to start, and that's kind of like establishing a little bit of surfing involved as well. That's why I have so many surfboards behind me. Because there's a big community in here in Corpus for surfers, and a lot of them are vets for the most part. So giving them that ability to get stoked through the waves, that's something beautiful that I want to do. And I can obviously have to have the capital to bring in more surfboards and go from there. That's one of the projects that I've been working on. Another one is kind of making it okay for them, because I've seen the power of service dogs, and it's not frowned upon, but in the military, it is disqualifying, what I mean, for service, just because naturally your something is potentially wrong where you can't, complete just active duty service anymore, military service, and it makes sense in all reality. But if they need one, giving them a route and showing them, that, hey, it's okay, you can do this, you need this, and just get it, don't be proud and let that egotistical stuff behind. And another thing as well is doing, I'm working with a lot of with World Ventures, and they have an amazing opportunity for veterans and for anybody to be able to experience this travel, this group, loving, this family feel of everything. And so being able to introduce that vehicle to veterans and just people in general who are in need, man, that just brings the military right back into their life in some aspects, So I'm still the oddball out in the family, so
I love it.
It's pretty fun.
That's super
Yeah.
cool. So those are your current projects. Well, what's kind of, and I know this is kind of a vague question to ask because I know people's visions change in their life, but kind of where do you see yourself in 10 years from now? Like, obviously speaking is very important to you, but what's kind of the legacy that you want to start building over the next couple of decades that you'll leave?
Okay, so the legacy, the main point where this is all geared to is to show veterans how to live a stoic life by design, and how to. I don't want to cuss on your on your program, but how to be unshakable, right? To gain that unshakability again, because I struggled with a lot of alcohol issues, girlfriends and relationships, failing, and then my buddies committing suicide, and I was like, man, I'm in this hole right now, and I need to get out, and it really opened my eyes to like, wow. I don't know where I'm at right now. And if I don't know where I'm at, plus getting a paycheck on the 1st and the 15th, like I don't know what my brothers who are on the outside, how they're feeling, when they don't have this help, they can't go to therapy. So I want to promote all these things that are very not risque out in other people's eyes, like therapy, like service dog and all these things. I'll be like, hey, if you need this, take it, because I got my unshakability, I got my why back. I know what I'm doing, and it feels so much better to be able to go to sleep and wake up, happy. So that's what I want to leave behind, essentially, is leaving more vets and people in general with the ability that they can become unshakable and have their why back and stand firm with posture to talk to anybody and just rock it out whatever they want to do. It's insane. So that's what I want to leave back and into the world. So
That's awesome, man. Well, what kind of advice then would you give to someone who feels a calling in their life to impact other people, but is holding themselves back? So whether it's somebody who wants to start a business or wants to start like a charity.
Okay, got it. Yeah. So the initial one would be, for me, is to find your why. If you don't know your why and what your purpose in doing whatever it is that you want to do, like you have a goal, but what is your why? Is your why in line with that goal? And if it's not, you better realize it, because then you're just going to be shooting for the stars left and right, and you're just going to be taking on programs, which is what I was doing as well, and I don't want to speak for anybody else. This is just from my experience. So I would definitely recommend find your why and make sure every single thing you do is aligned with it. If you're not aligned with your why, then it's going to be a rough one, and you'll find out, you'll figure it out. It'll be a beautiful journey to have, but for the most part, that would be my advice, is to start, find your why, and make sure it aligns.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, I guess I'd say the last question that I kind of have for you is go on ahead and just kind of tell me what's either on your heart or on your mind right now that you want either people to know more about you or another topic.
Okay, so on my heart, other than unshakability, is that you are worth it. And that's one of the things I ended last year with, and I kind of went back through it, like scrolling through my Facebook, and I saw this post I had that says you're worth it, and for the most part, a lot of people, one of the biggest things that I saw, a little lesson, was you have millionaires who obviously are very successful, but not all of them, but for the most part, are unhappy with their life, right? And if you look at it, you're like, why? If you have all this money, you have, beautiful women surrounded you, you have the car, blah, 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 you have it all, right? And if you sit there and ask them, for the most part, they probably won't even know why they're unhappy, and having all the cash and the money and everything in the world, like, yes, that's phenomenal. That's great. But if you don't think you're worth whatever it is that you have, you're not going to be a happy individual, So that's one of the biggest things also that I want to put out there, is that you are worth it, because the mind brings out so much, like any positive, you got negative actions or thoughts, like it will, come into life, into your life, And so keeping your thoughts in check too is massive to be able to, push forward and find your why and go from there, So yeah, you're worth it. Keep your thoughts in check and keep telling yourself that. And eventually through trial and error, you'll believe it, and it'll just happen. It'll be a beautiful thing,
I love it, man. That's really cool. For those of you that are watching, please, if you're a vetrepreneur yourself, or if you're active duty military, or even if you're, I guess you would say, non-active, please reach out and follow Diego. If there's anybody that's down near Texas, within close to probably about 3 hours away or close to the Houston area, definitely reach out to him, get involved with the charities and everything he's putting on down there. Or even if you're not close at all, message him and find a way that you can get involved, because things like this really need attention and really need the spotlight. But really appreciate you being on, Diego. Would love to have you on again in a couple months, kind of hear everything's growing for you and where you're at then. Sound good, brother?
Yeah, let's do it, brother. I love it. Thank you so much for having me on, and I hope you have a blessed day. And I hope everybody has a blessed day as well.
Love it. See you, brother.
All right, brother.